One down.
One, then.
Yeah. So right now, just all the parties. We'll come back.
You'll come back.
We are coming back. We are coming back. Okay. Yes.
Honorable Hester Passaris. This is the Women Representative, Nairobi County. She is currently sitting in Parliament, and I believe she's interacted with the NADCO report, so she will be briefing us. Maybe you can just say an hello as we hand over a flower for the Happy International Women's Day. Welcome. Miss Daisy, I'm done. You are at the center of this topic. You have been at the center of all this. Right from where the dot was drawn, to where the line was drawn straight, to when it started getting zigzaggish, to when it went and to what we are in. So, appreciating the theme that we were given by the UN for this International Women's Day, kindly highlight for us the multi-sectoral working group, what it has been able to do, what it has interacted with, and what are we expecting from Parliament. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Salma, and good afternoon once again. Good afternoon. Do you have a better mic? Yeah, I think that's better. So good afternoon, and thank you, Salma, and to all the participants. So I think we are at an exciting point on this journey of the two-thirds. Much as Denita and even you, Salma, have pointed out, that we have been here before. We have gotten excited. We have had opportunity to believe that we are going to see the conclusion of the two-thirds gender principle. But I think this time around, what we are seeing is the one ingredient that has been lacking, and that I think that is what we could call. Hello? Some of the power has gone.
Hello?
Hello. Hello? Okay. So I think one of the things that has been missing out more than anything else is what we have been saying, which is political will. Because everything that needs to be done has been done. And it's not for a lack of a mechanism that we have not achieved the two-thirds gender principle. As Denita said earlier on, that the bills have come to Parliament, but we have not had sufficient numbers. Members have not been whipped. KEWOPA, and I think really we need to celebrate KEWOPA, because at all times, KEWOPA have been right there. They have mobilized, they have lobbied, they have advocated, they have taken them for lunch, they have taken them for dinner, they have done over and above, everything. And at the end of the day, they still don't turn up in the right numbers to vote. However, I think that when Justice retired Maraga, Chief Justice Emeritus Maraga, advised for the dissolution of Parliament, for the first time, I think, in the Republic of Kenya, we saw a political cost that can come from shortchanging women. Now, I know that the 2/3 gender rule is not about women, but the reality is that women are the underrepresented gender at this point in time. And in Kenya, politicians don't see any political cost in shortchanging women because they come, they make promises. Women are a very powerful tool for mobilization around the ballot, but beyond the ballot, they have no pride of place. And so they are constantly making empty promises. And even when they don't fulfill the promises, the women still go on supporting them. So there's no political cost. So that dissolution order was a threat of a possible political cost. Because you dissolve parliament, you've essentially dissolved government. Because government cannot function without parliament. And when the president wrote his memo and highlighted the issues that he would like parliament to consider, that is one of the issues that he asked them to consider, the 2/3 gender principle, reminding them of the dissolution order. Because the Constitution in Article 3 says you cannot form government outside of the laid down principles within the Constitution. And the Constitution says you cannot have more than 2/3 of the same gender in any elective or appointive body. So Parliament is both an elective and appointive body and currently doesn't meet the 2/3 gender principle. And that is why the multi-sectoral working group was formed, of which I am co-chair, but Sylvester Mbiti is a member, and there are several other members drawn from a cross-section of actors, many of whom have been part and parcel of the journey for the agitation of the 2/3 gender principle. We carried out public participation and we have proposed the framework. And the framework is not different from what has been proposed before, because Parliament, right now, not being compliant, cannot be compliant unless a constitutional amendment is effected. It means that you need to open up the Constitution to provide for a means by which additional members will be appointed to ensure that not more than 2/3 of the same gender are in Parliament. And so that is what we have proposed. It is the same mechanism that applies in the county assemblies. And so we have just, the only difference is that we have said that we should have a transitional clause to bring the current Parliament into compliance. The other thing that we have also talked about, we've proposed amendments to the Elections Act. As Jan said, political parties play a very key role. And the Constitution says that Kenya is a multi-party democracy. As a multi-party democracy, it means our political parties play a key role in ensuring gender parity. And so one of the proposals that we have made is that political parties, upon submitting their party lists for elections, for the general elections, they must ensure that those lists meet the 2/3 gender principle. And that is for the dual gender seats. Because you know we have 47 seats which are for the women reps. But the 290 seats are dual gender seats. And we are saying, the proposal we've made is that the lists for general elections must comply with the 2/3 gender principle. This is also in keeping with the court judgment of 2017, because the court said that IBC, as a creature of the Constitution, must ensure that political parties comply with the 2/3 gender principle. There was a court order, however, before it came into force, the deadline, somebody went to court and argued that there was no public participation. So we have put that also as a requirement. The other thing that we have said is when it comes to nominations, we want that diversity, Danita, that you have talked about, that political parties must ensure that we have a diversity of the groups as listed in Article 100, so that when you're talking about women, we want to see young women, we want to see women with disabilities, we want to see women from ethnically marginalized groups listed on these nomination lists, so that we have that diversity. And then we have also said that for the nominations for persons with disabilities, that they must be listed with the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, because we do have people claiming disabilities on very dubious grounds and finding themselves sitting in seats representing persons with disabilities when they actually in in reality do not have a real disability. So those are the proposals that we have made. And we are very encouraged because I think you all heard the president yesterday during the G7 launch. He reiterated his commitment to ensuring that the not more than 2/3 gender principle will pass this time around. He was like, we're not going round this mountain anymore. I know that a lot of people have talked about issues to do with what does it cost, and that, you know, it's too expensive, and that women want free things. This is not about women. Remember, when we changed our constitution, one of the